Right, let's see if this one works. Yay, I'm back. I don't know what I'd done. I must alter the settings somehow and it just wouldn't let us share the screen. No good if I need you for if I showed you how to do it. Rotate around. Right. Can you hear us?
Yep.
Yeah. I've got a little mute sign down here, and I'm like, I'm sure I'm not on mute. I hope I'm not on mute. But anyway, I'm glad I'm here. I don't know if anybody wants to grab a pen and paper, if anybody's just watching. But I will upload this to the group, and I will do just a quick tutorial without kind of the chit chat of how to do it as well, just so you've got something to refer back to for reference. I'm going to start in Inkscape. This is the easiest I find in terms of being able to show you how to do stuff. You can do it. It's a bit trickier to do it in Design Space. It doesn't let you offset them back layer. So it's okay for kind of one layer. But if you want to kind of start creating dimension and offsetting, then it's much easier to do in Inkscape. And I know it looks a bit daunting at first, but it is quite straightforward and is quite easy once you know how. You don't need most of the functions within here. So it's just kind of, once you know what you need, it's less daunting and less scary. And the more you do it, the better the practice you'll get as well with it. So what I'm going to do is I used Amelia font, which I did post a link in the group for. I know I did pay for the font many years ago, but it is one that I use quite often. I use it across my wedding signs. So, but it has more than paid for itself. So all I'm going to do it first, and I'm going to come down to this A here, and it's just going to open up a text box for us. I'm just going to zoom in a bit so that you can see a bit better. I'll do the one cake top-up, but this will apply to any words, any text you want. So I'm just going to highlight it, and I'm just going to come up. There's a little lock key. If I go back to this, there's a little lock up here, but like there's on Design Space. So I'm just going to lock that just to keep me dimensions. I'm quite terrible at dragging it and then realizing I haven't locked it. So then I'm just going to come back down to the A, and I'm just going to use my drop down box up here to find my font. It is near the top. Now that Amelia font does come with some extra glyphs that you can access, but you would need to use Nexus font or character maps to do that. But I will quickly show you how to do that as well while I'm on here, because if you've got Nexus font, it is fairly straightforward. There's like a little bird and that extra in it. Where are you hiding font? I've got that many fonts on here. There we go. Oh, actually, you don't necessarily need Nexus font to access the little character maps on this one, because it comes up as a separate one itself. It is normally just a case of I normally just go through them. Is it going to work or is it not going to work? Oh, you can see kind of as I'm just typing a couple in the alphabet there. I normally just go down the alphabet. But you get kind of a couple of swooshes and that you can add underneath there as well within that, and that's just as part of the ornaments section on that. There's a little bird appears somewhere down the alphabet. You can use Nexus font to see which letters you needed if needed, but I can show you how to do that. If you want to use Nexus font, if you have got one that's got swirls and extra glyphs on the end, all you would do is I'm just going to use Nexus font here. I prefer Nexus font because I can see more what I'm doing than character map. I'm just going to find that font. Where's my mouse gone? So here's the ornament. I'll just show you the ornaments. And you just come to the font in Char Map, and that'll bring them up here on the screen for you. And the way you could do it, for example, is the bird. I would just kind of then click select. That would copy into this little box. If I just highlight it and copy it, then I would just bring it back into design space and paste. He's all
Sarah,
yeah.
all we could see was your Inkscape screen. We couldn't see what you were doing there.
Could you not see the little 2 minutes? I'll go back. I would have thought it would have popped up on the screen. There we go. Nexus fonts. Thanks, Jan. Right. So I use Nexus fonts, as I said, just because it's bigger and I can see better what I'm doing. So I will just quickly show you with this ornament font, but I will go and find one that's got a bit more swirls, just to show you how to do it really. So now can you see me little bird? So if you just click through these, there's different ones. These you can add underneath onto your onto your cake topper if you want it. But I'm just going to click on this little bird. And if you just click select, you'll appear in this little box. So I'm just going to highlight him and hit copy. And then if I come back down the screen share, I'll have to keep swapping between the screens. I'll have to remind myself. And then if I just going to copy and just going to paste him into here. Where's he gone? I just paste him. This one's quite an easy one because this has them separate. So there's a little bird there, for example. But if you were to go and use something that's a bit more fancier, and I'll just show you Desire Pro because I know that one's got plenty of these swirls and swooshes. And it's one I use quite often. Is if I just come down to this one, again, I'm going to come up to font in Char Map, and this is going to bring up this screen. And if I was to scroll down here, you can see I start getting all the fancier letters in this one. I'll just quickly, I'll take that one. I'm just going to come up with a random word here, I think, rather than just kind of put a V and an E in there. Again, I'm just going to copy it, select it all and copy. I'm just going to bring it back to the screen. I'll bring you back to my screen as well. There you go. If I just click on the A for the text, and I'm just going to hit paste, as you can see, it's inserted quite as a Japanese symbol. This is because obviously it hasn't recognized what font it is. So then all you do is you just come up and you just come to your drop down your font and you just change it to whichever font it was that you selected from there. And you can see it's kind of dragged it across. That's the easiest way I find to do all these extra little swooshes and swirls that you get with all them fonts that you can never find when you need them. But I can do a separate video on that anyway as well. I'm just going to get rid of my little bird as well. Right, so I've got me one here. Now, at the moment, if I was to upload this to Design Space, it wouldn't recognise it as a cutting path. The screen would just upload as blank, to be honest. It wouldn't even show it. So what you first need to do is we're just going to convert this to a cutting path. And this is where it gets a little bit trickier. So I'm going to come up to path on the top toolbar here, between object and text. And I'm going to hit object to path. This is going to start transforming it into this cutting path that we need. There's a little box. You just keep there's a little underneath the color bar on the bottom of Inkscape. There's a little box that keeps popping up. If you click around your screen, you'll see it change kind of where it's got layer 1, and that's group of 3 objects in layer 1. Emily, would you pop your thumb in, please? So then I'm just going to come next door to path to object, and I'm just going to come down to ungroup. This is a stage that Design Space needs you to complete. I'm not sure why, but if you don't complete it, it doesn't like it, and it still won't upload your file for you. So it's worth ungrouping. It's handy at this stage though if you were to ungroup, because you could change the size of the O to be a little bit bigger if you wanted it, or any of the other letters if you wanted to kind of change it around. You could change the position of them a little bit. It's entirely up to you. But then if you keep them highlighted, you can see you've got 3 little boxes around here. Just zoom in a little bit so that you can see. And you then need to come back to path and union, and that'll create a solid box around again. If I just come to the little nodes up here, you'll see all them little nodes, and that's what Design Space needs to cut it, essentially, as a cut path. So that's converted that to a cut path. Now, to create the offset layer, the shadow behind it, I'm just going to duplicate it. I'm just going to change the color of it, just so we can see. I'm just going to move the purple one over there. I'll zoom back out a little bit. Now, if I could, because this is I need quite a decent shadow behind this one. If I was just come up to path and down outset in here, you can see it's kind of instantly changed the thickness again, or you can press Control and close bracket, it'll do the same. So as you can see, that's created quite a solid, it's not solid yet, sorry, it's created quite a thick layer behind that. If you can see, oh, there with the one, I've got quite a good shadow behind that. Now you can see kind of the gap in the O down here with the E. You can keep that if you wanted to, but if you wanted to create more of a solid path behind it, all you need to do is you need to come back up to path and break apart. And you can see kind of where them little boxes have kind of popped up where the gaps were before. And then if you just come back to path and union, that'll fill that in fully. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. It's just personal preference on whether you wanted that filled in behind. Now, I know sometimes that you just want to slightly offset your text slightly, especially one where it's got quite detailed swirls like it has with Desire Pro. So you can control how much this increases the thickness by as well. So I was just to duplicate this one again. And I'll just show you how to do that as well while we're on here, because it is handy to know. You need to come up to Edit, and you're going to go all the way down the bottom to Preferences. You'll need to do this every time you open Inkscape. I normally just keep it open on the bottom. I'm terrible for not shutting my computer down fully, so I don't always need to do this. But if you're going to shut it down fully, you will need to do this every time if you want to kind of come in and play with that, like kind of alter how thick it's increasing by each time. So you're going to come down to behavior, and there's a little plus sign next to behavior. You just need to click that, and you're going to come down to steps. And you can see it's popped up this box here in steps. And you want this one here, the inset and the outset by. Now, I normally change that to 0.004. It's just so I can gradually control it, because I normally do this for increasing text that it's got that swirls on. Just because Desire Pro is quite narrow and thin on them swooshes. So I normally just come and offset it by this. So this lets me just gradually increase it but you can just, you know, play around with that until you find a number that you're comfortable with that. This is going to be a bit harder to see because it's not as easy, it doesn't increase it as thick as what the other one does. But if I layer it over that one, you still might be able to see kind of increasing a bit more. I just change the color of this one. So again, you just come up to path and outset, and if I zoom in a little bit more, you might be able to see it gradually increasing. It is increasing, but I've got more control over this. Again, I can just come up to Control and close brackets, and you can see it's kind of increasing a bit more gradually. So I've got much more control over that, unlike I have with just keeping the settings as they are. So it's up to you. But what I normally do is I'll just go back over that in case anybody needs us to as well. So I'll probably normally increase this about 3 or 4 times without altering the settings, just to create that shadow layer. But this one here, because it's quite thin around these edges, I would increase this a little bit as well first myself. Normally by about 3 or 4 on the altered settings. But it's whatever you're happy with and what the desired effect is that you want. So I'm just going to increase this one. Again, you can go up to path and offset outset, or you can just kind of increase it with the control and close bracket. I'm just going to create mine so it's a solid layer behind. So again, I'm just going to come up to path and break apart, and then path and union to create that. Now Inkscape, now Design Space will recognize this completely as a cut path. Does anybody need any help at this stage?
No.
Everybody happy? Right, so then all you need to do, I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller. I know some people say it has to be within this square when you save it, but I find it doesn't have to be. It'll still upload regardless to Inkscape if it's all the way over here. So you just need to come up to File and Save As. I'm just going to save it here so I know where it is. And then you've got this drop down box with your file names under Save As Type. This, you can save it as lots of different types here with Inkscape. You're not limited. So either Inkscape SVG or plain SVG will work just fine in Design Space. And then I'm going to come back across to Design Space. Take us with us. I don't know why I just didn't. You would think it would just automatically shared when I was sharing my screen, but it seems I have to click on each thing I want to actually use to see. So I'm just going to come up to upload, and I'm just going to upload the file and hit browse. When it decides it wants to work. Tongue goes slow again, honestly. There it is. I can never remember where I save half of my files. It will just pop up that if I just pop back to that. I don't know what's going to the little box that just popped up there, I would just, if you just hit continue, this one here, the upload may contain following items that aren't supported, just hit continue and it'll upload anyway still. There's the tags over here is worth adding. If it's something like this cake top, I might just be worth adding a couple of tags into here, just so that it makes it easier to find it later on. Normally I don't do it if it's just a name or something that I'm unlikely to use again. So I'm just going to import it into the mat. Normally this would upload quite small, but for some reason, since the upgrade, it's decided to upload quite big. So just make sure that when you come back over to here that you're resizing it. Sometimes it'll disappear off the mat. So just make sure you come up, check the position up here. If you think, oh, it hasn't uploaded, it has. It's probably in the layer panel to be able to see, but just change your position over here to 0 and 0, and then just decrease your size a little bit, and it should pop up. It's just the joys of Design Space. It used to, as I said, used to pop up quite small, but since the upgrade, it's decided to go to the other end of the scale. But I know quite a few crafters are having the same issue with this. So normally our design needs for about a 6-inch cake. So I normally do this topper at about 5 inches. So I'm just gonna decrease it, but you know, it's up to you what size you do this at. What I would normally do here is I would ungroup it, and depending on what cardstock you're using, because I know some's a lot thicker than others, if it's quite thin, or if I wanted to cover the back of it just to tidy it up, what I would do is I would just duplicate it here, the back layer only, and I would just flip it. I find it easier to flip on here than on the other one. And that would create, I know it doesn't look like it at the moment, but if that was to cut out a glitter, for example, the glitter would be on the top, and that would kind of flip round to fit on the back of here. And it just creates a bit of a neater finish. I did have a cake top at the hand to show that. I don't know if you can see on the, you'll find this, where am I? I don't think I can see myself on the mobile. Where am I at down here? There we go. There you can see that one's got the shiny back on. That's the front of it. And that's the back, kind of just it just tidies it up, makes it a bit neater, especially if you're sending out to your customers. So at this stage, all I would do is just make it, send them out. If you want to kind of insert any, I know I'm using little flowers that I've bought, so these ones, but if you want to use the rolled flowers that you can get within Inkscape or files that you've bought yourself, then just kind of insert at this stage, just send it all to Matt, and then obviously just press and make it to send it to your Matt. I normally just put whatever colours it comes up with, to be honest. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move my laptop out of the way because I've already pre-cut mine. Does anybody need time to cut theirs?
No.
Is everybody just watching and going along? That's fine. I'm just going to pin that one to there. Right, if I stop that chair, right, just so I can see what I'm doing here. Right, so I've already cut mine, as I said. I just knew Design Space would have a too hard with this. What I normally use is you can just glue it, so it's just creating a flat layer. That's entirely up to you. I like to give it a bit more dimension, so I use these little foam squares. These ones are from Hobbycraft, but you can get them all over, different kind of sizes. The little mini ones are quite a good one. They do stick to everything else, so when they're out of the packet. But with this being quite a thin font, these little mini ones are quite handy for this one. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the top, which is the thinner layer of the two, and I'm just going to place them round. Sometimes I might need to chop these in half as well, depending on, because this is quite a thin one. Normally with thicker ones, so you would get away with just kind of popping the whole square on, but in some cases I do need to make it a little bit narrower. Ooh, shouldn't have crossed there. So I'm just going to go around and I'm just going to position these. Seem to be pulling off the back of the stickiness and not the actual foam pad. This is where mine normally fall out, because I end up stuck to them. They end up stuck all over. So I'm just going to go around, probably back over there. Normally what I do is I go around, pop all the kind of ones on the wider spots first, just to save me time. And then I come back and pop the ones on the thinner ones. I think I've done this one thinner than what I normally would as well. But again, it's just around kind of, normally the little, you can get like a roll of this normally on a foam tape. And normally I would have that, that's a bit easier to kind of chop to my desired thickness. But the craft shop that we had locally closed down a few years ago, just before Christmas, without any warning. So I didn't even have a chance to stock up. This is a bit fiddly and does take some just getting used to. But as I said, you could just stick it down flat if you wanted to. But I just like to be a bit awkward, I think. It's just about making sure that you've got them evenly spread out. Or just wing it as I do. Add a few more if you're in doubt. Right. And Horace popping all little backs off them. The cake topper sticks, I use these clear ones, and it is clear. I've just got the protective film on. I get these from Acrylic Craft. Now you can just use a wooden skewer if you want to. I just find these just give a bit of a nicer finish. They're not too bad, and the more you buy, the cheaper they are as well. Now I'm just going to take my bottom layer. This one I've cut out with the pearlized card. Top one I done with glitter. This one I done with the pearlized card from Crafty Cutler as well. And that one cut quite nicely actually, on the same settings I used for this one, the glitter one. So then this is the tricky bit for lining it up. So normally I get a bit play with these kind of sticky foams. It's just, and then just make sure you kind of press it down gently, but firmly at the same time to make sure it sticks. This is where you would know where you need to go back. So that's quite, you know, I've got not much support there. So normally at this stage, I just go back around and add a few more extra just to support it a little bit. This is a good stage to kind of think, right, I need to add a couple more there. Ooh. I'm not dropping them. There we go. Could do one on the bottom of that end as well, I think. So normally I would thicken that up a little bit more, the top layer anyway, just to give us something to work with. So these little flowers, as I said before, I have got different sizes. You can get them in different sizes. There's some dinky ones, quite small ones, and then there's some bigger ones here. So they are just different sizes. These are just the paper roses, and there's lots of craft shops sell them. You can get them on the likes of eBay. And these ones, I actually got these ones from a online shop that sells hair bow stuff called Eliza Henry. But a lot of the bow making pages sell them as well. Normally I switch at this stage now to use super glue to glue these on, but just use whichever glue you're most comfortable with using at home. There's no right or wrong, it's just whatever you like. I don't tend to get away with a glue gun for long. End up stuck to it. So not like I do with the thing as well. These have got a metal backing on them though as well. So I've just snipped the metal backing off, and I'm just going to push it down a little bit on these ones. These, it's just about positioning wherever you want on your flower. Okay, but on your topper, there's no right or wrong place. Just play around with the design kind of until you're happy with it really. This one I need to hold for a few seconds. That's the only trouble with these. Now my butterflies, I cheated, I didn't cut them on the cry cut, but you could cut them on the cry cut. If you were going to cut something, I don't know how well that would cut on the machine. But if you had something that was quite intricate like this, all you could do is with the smaller pieces, you could just use the contour tool on Design Space. I can show you how to use that if anybody's not quite sure with that. Because I know a few people said they didn't know what to use it for. So I can show you that. But then you could kind of delete a couple of these out, or you could just create a solid one. These are just used, I've got a Sizzix Big Shot, and I just used a die that I had off them. I cheated this time. I did do that. I have cut butterflies before out of it, on the cry cut, and it didn't cut too bad actually. This one, all I've done is I've got the holographic here as well from Crafty Cutter. That was quite nice. I'm going to stick to this butterfly now. I don't know if you can catch the rainbow effect on that very well or not. I know my lighting's terrible. I do apologise. I'm trying to get sorted out with equipment so I can improve it a bit. But I'm just going to push them up a little bit. It is really nice. It's not too thick, this card, that you can't do anything with it. But it does hold its shape. As you can see with the butterfly wings, it's kind of held its shape quite well. This is all just from Acrylic Craft, this card. It's a no shade glitter. The pearlized one I've got, I think that was only about 30 or 40 pence a sheet. The pearlized one, so it's quite nice as well. And then the mirror cardstock as well. What I would normally have done is glued this on at the beginning before I started adding my extra layers, just so I didn't squash them. But again, I just use super glue with the cake stick as well. But again, just use whichever glue you're comfortable with, or whichever one you're happy with. I could pick the end where it would be the centre, or I could pick the O to kind of, whichever is going to kind of give you the most stability, I would say. I'm probably going to pick the O on this one. I think it's just a bit sturdier for this one. Again, I'm just going to put a bit of glue on the back of here. I normally end up stuck to the glue stick, or the glue stick ends up stuck to my table at this stage. Just going to hold it on for a few minutes. You could either just glue that straight onto the back, but what I find is because of the glue, this is 3mm, you see it? Yeah, this one's 3mm. So it kind of, sometimes you end up with seeing it on the other side, the way it kind of glues, depending on it. So what I've took to doing is using the foam squares to create that, kind of lift it up a bit easier actually. I normally just use the biggest ones here. Just normally add a few on. Smaller ones. Just make sure you push them down firmly. I know some of these are stickier than others, depending on which brand you buy. One stuck to the back of my mat the other day and got stuck in my machine. I was nearly crying because I thought, oh no, I broke it. But I managed to wiggle it out. I got stuck in the roller bit at the back. I normally just, you can use your weeding tool to pick off the back of these. Sometimes it's a bit easier. It depends how well they want to come off. But again, just make sure they're pushed down firmly to make sure that they do stick well. There's definitely better brands ones of these. I know I can't remember the brands I've had before, but I know they definitely stuck. The Hobbycraft ones I find don't stick as well. If anybody's got any recommendations for them. There we go. So it's just about lining this one up. Again, like you did before, only this one's a bit trickier because it's going to be seen on the front as well.
Are we supposed to be able to see what you're doing?
What? Sorry.
Are we supposed to? No, I can't. It's just you. I can just see you.
Oh, I'm on again, Jan. If you shuffle along, can you see us?
No, hang on. Let me do.
I think I'm just Sarah Baines on the other one. Oh no, I haven't changed myself on yet. I don't know how I can.
Hang on. Yeah, got ya. Sorry, Sarah. Thank you.
Sorry, Jan. I should have checked. I had this the last time. Yeah, I'm trying to. I know Sam on the Crafty Cutter, she managed to get herself on the screen with her hands on at the same time as well. I know how she's doing it, just need an extra webcam. So it is just about lining this up on the back. Again, pushing down well. You can kind of see where I haven't quite lined it up as well on that side. but thankfully these foam squares do allow us to trial and error that. What I sometimes do, if I remember to do it in design, in Inkscape before, is I'll sometimes create that front shadow layer a little bit thicker than the one at the back, just so it gives us a little bit more leeway when I'm lining them up. Especially on ones that I normally just do, if I'm just doing kind of all solid one colour, I will create the back offset just slightly smaller and slimmer than the top one. And just makes life a bit easier for lining it up. So there you go. You can see kind of, I'm trying to thingy that don't know, I'm upside down. Yes, probably. I probably didn't know upside down the whole way. So I hope you can see that. But it is just about lining it up. Some fonts will definitely be easier to do than others. It just depends on what you're confident with. But this will work with anything, even happy birthdays, down to kind of just letters, numbers, just whatever what you need. And really, does anybody have any questions at all? Or I show you how to do the contour. If you were to use a butterfly from Design Space, just to remove the sections on it as well. Go back into Design Space. I just go back on my mat. Now mine's going to come up with a price because I don't pay for the subscription, but I can still show you what I need to do. I know there's a couple of butterflies in here as well, so I'll just pick this one because this one's quite a good one to show you. What I tend to do, if there's one that I do want in here, I just buy it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it highlighting. I'm just going to come down to contour on the bottom right here. It will pop up a entirely different box. As you can see, I'm just going to try it. Oh, it's not going to let us shrink that. Just move that over there. So if I just zoom in a little bit more on this, you can see now I don't think this will cut okay with vinyl, but it wouldn't cut okay with card, especially if we're cutting it maybe about 2 inches as a butterfly is on my topper. So with the contour tool, what does it let you remove these little bits? And if you just kind of, as you can see, it's flickering between what I'm kind of clicking on. So just you can come down this bit and you can see them. It's not always easy with the little bits. But if you just kind of, it'll go a darker grey when you're hovering over it. And I'm just going to click on them. And I'm just going to, so I remove all these little bits, for example, that I know won't cut well. These bits aren't so bad. No, I know these bits definitely won't. So as you can see, if I was just to then come off here, I'm just going to hit the close button. It's removed all them little bits off that little butterfly, and it would make it much easier for cutting. It's quite handy, that function. Again, I could show you on this one as well. If this is probably the way to do it in Design Space without using Inkscape, actually. Again, if you just come down to the contour, you can just kind of zoomed in too much, that one. But you could just click on it and it would just remove the center bits of the letters. There you go, just made it a solid shape. So it is handy for knowing that little tool. I actually sat and watched a demonstration before where somebody completely, well, she took a colouring sheet from the internet and used the contour tool to create a full SVG file with it, basically, to layer it. So it is a handy little tool to know. Is there anything anybody needs me to go back over or has any questions about anything?
No. No.
Because if there's anything, even if it's nothing related to this at the minute, I'm happy to answer any questions or help any way I can. But the inbox is always open anyway. I can always pop on the group and ask if there's anything that you need any help with or support with. I hope it's helped though.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm just checking that there's nothing anybody wants us to go over.
No, thank you.
No. Jude, Jan, you okay?
No, sorry, Sarah. And I was just going to say thank you. Sorry, I'm
Don't worry.
I'm doing two things at a time.
Don't worry, Jan. I know that.
Oh, I'm dead impressed with myself. You know, we're using inkscape today, you know, from your last one.
Oh, yes.
And I did 5 names and, you know, did in the inkscape and did the back. So the more you do it, the easier it does go.
Oh,
It was
so
very
quick at
daunting.
it.
Yeah.
It is.
Really
It just looks scary, as I said, because of all the functions you've got on it.
Yeah.
But once you know it, as I said, you can duplicate so many more names quicker than what you ever could in design, because you haven't got to worry about spacing.
Definitely. And I did it like a present for a friend the other day, and there was loads of text in it. Now doing text in design space is just the worst, isn't it? But so I thought, you know what, because I remember you saying on the last one for your typing as well, you can do that and then save it as well. I did that. Oh my god, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Saved me so much time.
Well, just because design space crashes as well, doesn't it, before you even finish?
It got to the point where I had to do like a sentence and then save and then duplicate and then edit, and then you're waiting. It's like catching up all the time, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then the good thing about Inkscape on your text, it joins it up automatically, doesn't it? So
yes.
Yeah, you're not messing around trying to get things to join. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
No, very helpful, Sarah. Thank you.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Honestly, I'm glad I can help. It's a game changer, though. I know it does look scary. I think it's got so much more functions, but I don't even use a quarter of them. I just stick. I mean, I could probably learn so much more with it, but I don't need to. So it is definitely taking. Even if you just take a couple of hours a day, just to kind of.
Yeah.
I'm just going to focus
just
on
mess around. Yeah.
Nothing else. Because
I think I had it downloaded for about 4 months, and I just looked at it and it just nothing. And then obviously did the one with you, and then I thought, right, that's it, give it a go, and total game changer.
Definitely is, because I know there's a couple who I know how to do the knockout text, and again, it's much easier to do in Inkscape than what it is to do in design space. So
definitely,
but I'll do that one on a separate one. I'll get some wood blocks from Woodcraft Formcraft. I'll get some wooden blocks from there to show you how to do the knockout. But there's loads. As I said, it's just learning the basics. But once you've got the basics, the possibilities are endless.
Definitely,
So, but yeah, I'm glad you worked it out.
Definitely, in the end.
But it feels a game changer though. Once you've worked out and think, I've done it. Like you said,
why didn't I do it sooner?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, really, very, very helpful. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. It was a game changer for me. It's only probably about 2 years for Inkscape, maybe 2-3 years for Inkscape for me. But as soon as I learned Inkscape, that was it. The subscription went, and I thought, stuff it. I'll just, because I buy a lot of files on Etsy or design bundles and use them, because I can use them across all 3 machines. Because I do have Curio and Cameo 3 as well, so I can use them across them, and I'm not just limited by the files in design space. So I find them quite old and archaic, some of them as well. I'm just like, oh, really?
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'm glad it helped though.
Definitely, yeah. Thank you.
Anybody else with anything?
Where did you say you got the acrylic sticks from, please?
Acrylic Craft. I can add the
craft.
Yes, I put a leopard print cake topper on the group earlier, and I put a link to that. But I can put the link. I'll find the actual link to the sticks, and I'll post that in the group because it's 2 different lengths. I tend to just use the smaller one. My sister's a cake maker, and I've never really needed the longer one. But as I said, the more you buy in them, the cheaper they get as well. They're not that much either. but it does just add a bit more of a professional look to them. You can get the paddle ones as well from there. This style. 2 minutes, I'll just grab them. These are the
Acrylic craft is really good for all your shapes, for all your blanks.
It's too addictive though.
Oh, ridiculous.
You come back to the one where I'm on my camera. I've got these are a smaller panel. These ones I've got in the mirrors. These are quite nice. These have got protective. They've all got protective covers on them. That's the only thing. When you get them, you may think, "Oh, that's not the colour I ordered." There's a protective cover on both sides except on the mirrors. There's not one on the back of the mirrors, but there is on the front. And I would advise certainly on the mirrors not to remove it until you absolutely need to. The mirrors do scratch quite easily, but this one here has quite a nice candy pink. But the possibilities and the colours you can get in these are endless. This is quite a shimmery pink. I know it's probably not showing up so well on my camera. I've got some white ones here, but I mean, I've shot in acrylic craft for quite a while now. Whoops! I'll just send everything crashing. But I tend to work with the frosted.
I was just going to say that, yeah, avoid the clear. Yeah.
Love the frosted simply because I don't have to worry about fingerprints.
Finger marks. Yeah.
That's the only thing that drives us nuts with the clear. This one, this one hasn't got the backing on. It's just got, I'm trying to sort out my light so you can see maybe a bit better. So this is it's more like the way to describe it is like your bathroom window, that frosted opaque, but you do not have to worry about fingerprints on these. So, and the pastel colours are matte on one side and gloss on the other. So again, you don't have to worry about fingerprints. But this is a nice blue. I love this sapphire blue. This baby bluey no longer stocks on acrylic craft, but I'm sure Michelle on wood foam craft is going to start stocking it. Just trying to. This is quite a nice baby blue, in comparison to this one. I'm gutted that he stopped selling it, because it goes nice with the blush pink, which is this one. But I think he used to stock about 56 colours. I think he's reduced it a little bit now, but you can see kind of them two colours go quite nice together. This is what the class is blush, but I would class it more as a salmon. It heavily depends on what light you're in. I can never catch the true colour of it without being outside to take a photograph of it. Yeah. But honestly, I mean, you can get hanging plaques, you can get all sorts. These ones, I'll upload a picture, a couple of photos for ideas of these, but these, you can add like the little discs or the little stars to the bottom of these. And I've used them for like Father's Day. I use them for Christmas, like Christmas with the Baines family, for example, and have all the names hanging. But you can get different shapes of these. You can get discs and you can get stockings and that to hang on them. So you can get the paw prints and that go on them. If you're going to get the hanging plaques in the shapes for the hanging plaques, then I would recommend the 75mm shapes for the hanging plaque. The star, for example, will hang okay by itself in the middle, but I wouldn't be able to get another star on. The stockings, the 100mm stockings will hang on here all day long, side by side, because of the shape of them.
Yeah.
Because they're 100mm down rather than across.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm happy to do a tutorial on these as well, the hanging plaques. They're good for Mother's Day as well, to, you know, with the grandchildren quote on, the grandchildren hanging.
Or you could do a new baby, and you could have the days and the weight and stuff on, you know, one on different things, couldn't you? That's a good idea.
I've done that one before. I have done that one. I don't have the sample anymore, but yeah, I have done it, and I use the star, and I'll use a 100mm star in the middle, and then I use the 75mm stars on the outside. But you have to hang them with ribbon if you're going to do that on the outside. You could hang it with a ribbon anyway, but I normally buy the little triangle clips you can buy from Acrylic Craft for hanging them, for clipping in place. So I'm happy to do tutorials on them as well. But the colours, if you scroll to the bottom of the page, there's a colour chart on every page. And you can also buy the colour chips as well. So if you are placing an order and think, do you know what, I would like to see what the colours were in real life and not just kind of on the screen, because we know they're not the same. You can order the colour chips as well. I don't know where my little chips are actually. Sometimes, but even this sign, even these signs, they do the freestanding ones. They kind of come with the bases. This is a clear base. I just haven't removed the packaging yet. And I've just painted this one. But again, you don't have to paint them. You can get them in any of the colours that you can order from Acrylic Craft. The base will always be clear though, on them ones. But again, the frosted ones are quite nice for putting quotes on. This was just a one for my sister for a cake prop. I'm trying to. Honestly, I have way too much stuff. way too much.
It's always the way you can never find anything when you talk about something.
I know, but yeah, I've done the Mother's Day quotes on them. These are the frosted freestanding ones. These are the 200ml ones, and they are a nice size. But again, these come in different shapes and different sizes as well. I'm not responsible, mind, for anybody's bank balances. Once to go and have a look.
Do you know what? Over the weekend, I think I've done 3 orders to Woodform. I thought, oh yeah, okay, that's just a little one. And then you scroll through the page, you think, yeah, okay. So, oh my God, yeah. So I'm going to have to message Michelle and say, look, just bundle it all together, just send it in more. Yeah, ridiculous.
I'm like that with Acrylic Craft, but with Acrylic Craft, if your order hasn't been dispatched and it's not in
yeah, you can still add
to it for £1. Yeah. It's not always a good thing.
I've done that before. Yeah.
But yeah, but the thing with Acrylic Craft as well that I can quickly show you is if you go into Acrylic Craft, Woodform doesn't provide you with the SVG file, but Acrylic Craft does.
Yeah.
I just click onto here and I'm just gonna, I did have it, oh, I have got it up here actually. I was trying to copy a link for somebody. When you'll have to sign in for Acrylic Craft, you have to create an account. But once you've bought the files, once you put your order in, even before your orders come to you, if you then go into my account and click on view address, invoices and downloads, what will happen is you'll automatically get the files for the shapes that you've bought, so the outline shapes. So it means that you can get busy designing your files, but you can size your files or your design to the shape that you're using, including that cut and hole, because that's the one thing that always gets people is a little cut and hole at the top, especially for round designs. So it's handy to have them. They come in different formats. I normally just upload the SVG. The only thing to be conscious of is it'll upload to the wrong size in Design Space. So just make sure you correct the size within Design Space. If it's width, it kind of the width in inches, it depends what you're working in inches or millimeters. If in doubt, just Google.
Yeah.
But it's 3.97, I think, on the if you're working on inches. But normally just lock the shape, and normally it's the width on them that is 100ml. So it's just kind of locking it and just changing the longer shape. Normally the website will tell you as well.
Yeah, it tells you on the bottom of your design, doesn't it? It'll actually say like width and height, so you know what to, you know where you're working.
These are a lifesaver for resizing your files to make sure that they fit.
Yeah, definitely.
So yes, but as I said, I'm not responsible for anybody spending pennies.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a handy tip, that one, to have and know. But as I said, Woodform doesn't provide them, but Acrylic Craft definitely do. But I also admin the Acrylic Craft page, so if anybody's struggling with anything, just give us a shout and I'll be happy to help with Acrylic Craft stuff.
Where do you get all the time to do all these pages and work as well?
I just fall into them, I really do. Acrylic Craft I've been doing for quite a few years. Again, I just fell into it. And then when Charlotte was looking to set up the pages, because there's a silhouette one and there's a cut and scan group as well, she was just looking for people, and she was in another group that I was in as well, and Addicted to Acrylic Craft group, you know. That's how I found Acrylic Craft, through the Addicted to group. So yeah, I just kind of fell into that one. and then had a chat with Charlotte about kind of doing a bit more tutorials and kind of a bit more projects and that to kind of show you what can actually be done with the machine and that. So, but I'm quite enjoying it. I mean, I've had my machines for 6 years now. I am onto my 4th machine. I do kind of wear them out. Well, I don't know if I wear them out or whether they just have a breaking on us. So I am onto my 4th machine. But it is used quite a lot because, as I said, I run a business as well alongside of it. But I think things are quiet because I normally do wedding signs. And unfortunately with COVID, the wedding industry is just dead.
Yeah, isn't it?
I decided to get a bit creative and think, well, what else can I do? And I thought, well, actually, I've got a bit of spare time, so I may as well start teaching. Bit more, show you a bit more what you can get out of your machine, really, but also show you what products can be made with the likes of acrylic craft and crafty cutter. So yeah.
I got some lovely vinyls, you know, when Sarah does her demos with the buttons and stuff. I've got some here, absolutely.
This one is amazing.
Gorgeous.
The pastel blend.
Yeah, I got that. Was that like a rainbow sub, but it's like pastel, is it?
Yes, it is. I know the light is not doing it justice. There's a HTV one. This
that one, like a chevron
t-shirt. Oh, I like the chevron.
The chevron. Is that too close? Oh, yeah. It's like pink and white.
The normal.
That's just normal. That's normal. That's a gloss one.
For the eggs, though.
Look at the buttons.
One as well.
Buttons one is gorgeous, and little tiny hearts as well.
Oh, you can actually as well with crafty cutter. If there's the one that you wanted printed, but you didn't do it, you can ask her for it as well.
Yeah.
You can send the file, or you can send over one of your files as well, and they can print it.
She'll do it. I got loads more. I've just not got it. I've got some lovely ditzy floral ones, absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, they'd be lovely for the Easter egg ones on there.
But I love the glitter, the crystalline, is it called?
Oh yes,
absolutely.
See,
I know what she feels like now, saying you can't see it on the screen.
People struggle to cut the crystalline.
Absolutely. You can't see it, can you?
Oh, the sparkle in it is amazing. With the premium glitter.
Doesn't know. I've got and I used the green one at Christmas. Oh, it was fantastic. Absolutely lovely.
The premium.
I got gold. I got gold as well. I think. Yeah.
The trick with the crystalline, if you're struggling to cut small text with it, pop it in the freezer for about 15 minutes before you go to cut it, and it just seems to. Sometimes if it gets warm, it gets quite tacky on the back. So you pop it in the freezer. It seems to solve it with any of your vinyl, especially in the warmer weather. If you find it quite sticky, just pop it in the freezer to chill out for a little bit.
I think I did have a problem when I first got it, and then I think I watched because she does like a Friday afternoon demo, don't they?
Yeah.
And she was using it, and she said she uses external vinyl.
Oh.
And so I went on my Makeup, found it, and every time. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And it was dead intricate, you know, the Christmas tree all swirly. Not just all came off great. Lovely. Yeah. I know. I'd be loaded if it didn't do all this stuff.
Well, you just think I'll start a business with it or I'll start a hobby, but I think there's a whole different meaning between collecting.
Totally. It's two different hobbies, isn't it? Buying it and actually doing stuff with it.
I go through my drawers and I'm like, oh, where did I get that from? When did I order that? The kids will be out and I'm like, where did you get that from? They're like, your office. I'm like, well, where?
Didn't even know I had that. Yeah.
The apron I done the other week with the photo on, that the picture of the Lipton had drew them had been in my drawer for about a year. As well, so when I was trying to have a sort out to declutter, I found I was like, I've got the perfect picture to put on there. So, but the aprons are lovely quality, and ideal for gifts. Really, you can put anything on them. So yeah,
good.
But yeah, I've got a metal sign as well, actually, from Crafty Cutter that I haven't yet used. That's been sat up there for a couple of months, so I need to find something for that. The metal sign probably good Father's Day project or something for his granddad or dad's shed.
Yeah, or something to do with like gaming and so that's
Yeah.
that type of stuff. That'd be more boyish, that type of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or hot tub or barbecue, something for outside.
Did get the bottle openers from there as well, but I've only got one bottle opener left, and I know she's struggling to get them because of Brexit at the moment. So I don't know if they'll be back in stock. So I dare show anybody it because I don't know if everybody will go down for it. So, but yeah.
Sarah,
Yes.
can I ask, am I making this up in my head, or are we doing where you turn the writing to the SVG?
Oh, I've done that
No.
this week. Do you want us to show you how to do it though?
How
It's
did
not
I
a problem to show you how to do it, Jane.
Oh.
I'll show you. I'll show you. Is
Because
it
I
right
was
thing
like,
you want to
it's funny
see?
she hasn't mentioned that.
Is it the writing you want to see or the pictures?
Both,
Or
either
both?
or. Yep.
You can do it in Design Space, and I will show you how to do it. Where I need to remember to bring you with us from Zoom. That's the only trouble. If I come back to Design Space, so I have got the pictures already on here. So I'm just going to come up to my uploads because I have got it. And I just view all. So you can do it this way, but this way isn't the clearest. And I know there is a video that'll show you the 3 different ways. See these 3 here. Jamaica cake. It's your nephew who drew it. So my sister bakes cake.
Yes. I'm perimenopausal, and I swear to God, my memory.
Oh, he's an excellent drawer, honestly. I've got some amazing things I could make from him. But this one, he has the cake, and this one's the one she's dropped on the floor. I don't know where he's ever seen her drop a cake on the floor, but he's clearly seen it at some point. But this was 3 different ways of creating it. But I'm just going to... This one, I did make this one. You can, I'll upload all 3 qualities, and I'll show you how I've done each one. I should have just clicked on them all and imported together. It would have been easier.
Sarah, am I the only one you're showing?
No, I'm here.
No, everybody can see it.
Oh, no, just, am I the only one that thought she hadn't seen it?
Oh, honestly, it's not a pick a bother, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll not take us 2 minutes to show you, honestly.
All right.
So there's a couple of different ways you can do it, as I've said. The first one, this one, I've done this one. So you'll see her a few times. You can do it by uploading it and upload your image and browse your computer. I'm trying to think of what I saved it as now. Did I save it as Darwin? Yes, I did. So this is the original picture, and this is the hardest way to do because it just takes forever to do it. But we need to complex your image and import it, and this is where it's going to take the painstaking task because you need to click on all the little bits to start clearing it up. So as you can see, it is going to take forever to do it in this, and you're going to be left with a lot of this, and you're going to have to kind of get the rubber over here. It's going to have to be quite big to delete all these bits that you don't need around it, as well as clicking on all of it. So this is the hardest way to do it, and not a way I recommend, to be honest, not with a picture as well. So the other way to do it is, if I come back and get you. Oh, I don't like this screen share. I can normally just take it with us on there. Normally whatever screen I'm on, it normally just pops up on there thingy. So there's a website called it's remover dot, is it BG? Yeah, remove.bg, and if you click on that and you just upload your image, this will automatically remove the background for you. Where have I put Darwin's picture? This isn't saying, this will just automatically remove the background for you. Just download it back to your computer and it'll automatically download actually. You just need to take notice of what it's downloading of in the bottom left hand corner. Normally it adds the remove.bg at the end of it. But this one is quite grainy when you upload it to Design Space as well. It's better than it is doing it in Design Space, but it isn't the best. The quickest and easiest is back in Inkscape. And if you just come up to File and Import, this does definitely create the neatest finish. And if you go back and watch the video, we'll show you the 3 ways of doing it and kind of the quality on the screen as well.
We're still on remove background. Sorry.
It drives us nuts, this. I don't know why I can't just do what I want us to do. Like, why have I got Mtopia? Oh, honestly, I don't even want that. Right, now can you see is when we select File Import.
Yes.
So what I do is you just come up to File, and I said Import, and I'm just going to come down to, I know it's in my downloads. On that one. And just leave everything as it is. You don't need to do anything, just click OK. And it'll upload it to the screen for you. I'm just going to zoom out to shrink it a little bit. Again, just make sure that little lock at the top's locked. Oh, I didn't want to move you. There we go. And all I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to come up to Path and I'm going to hit Trace Bitmap. And this is the bit where you might need to play around with, depending on how many colours is in this. But you can increase the colours here and increase the number of scans here. But no, this one will just upload quite easily, I know, and text should as well. I just click Remove Background just to make it easier. And if you hit Update, you normally get a little picture here when it wants to do what I wanted to do. That's not going to cooperate for us, is it, today? Normally you hit Update and you get a little picture here. I'm just going to try and increase these. Must be having a bit of a come on, you normally just do it for us. It's not going to work today. Try that one. Right, I'm going to go back off here and I'm going to try it again. This normally says whatever you've changed to do as well. Oh, there he is. He's appeared now. So it'll just appear. It's not the best quality in this screen, but you can kind of see roughly. And if we just click OK, it will then pop. It's popped it in front of it. I'm just going to use a cross tick. So I've got, as you can see here, this is the one it's copied. And this is the original underneath. I'm just going to pop the original over here. Oh, this is created. It's I think it's the outlines here, so it's not the best either. I'm going to go back and see if it'll do the. I don't want the edges detected. I want the whole thing done. The other tutorial just worked to show you how to do it. First time. Just on go slow for us today. I don't know why. There we go. So if you keep it on brightness cut out, it should hopefully work. But as you can see, I've got this top layer and I've got this bottom layer. As you can see, it's brought in the dark blue on the top of the paper as well. So if I just zoom out of here a bit, this little one here, underneath this little arrow, the little nodes one, you can see, if you can click on it, it'll see where all it wants to cut in Design Space. So all these little grey nodes here, Design Space is going to recognize that as a cut path. So all that I would do is I just drag boxes around them and just hit delete. I'm just going to come down here because I know it's down here as well. So it's just where it's picked up little marks on the paper or the scan. I find a scanned image is much easier than a photo, but just depends what you're working with. There you go. So as you can see, it's cleaned him up to a little. I just delete this one, and I'm just going to file, save as. So downloads, and then, so I think if I remember rightly, this is the one that I've done on an online SVG converter. So I just Googled an SVG converter and uploaded it, and this is the one that it gave us from there. You can see it hasn't kind of traced it the best it could have. This one was from the background remover, which is a bit better, but again, not ideal. And if I just come back into this one and upload it, the one from Inkscape, but it'll work with text as well. Again, hit continue, and I just upload it. You can see kind of in terms of quality, we also change the colours of these so you can maybe see them a bit better.
Still on Inkscape.
Ah, sorry guys. Somebody needs to shout up. There we go. There we go. So this orange one here, I've just uploaded it to Design Space. This orange one here is the one that I've done in the background remover. It wasn't the bestest, but why do you want, oh, it could be too big, shrink you a little bit. It's not the best of quality. You can see it's quite, it's missed quite a bit of the patches of the original photo. It would still cut okay, but it would kind of be quite difficult to read. Inkscape will let us change the outset of this as well. You can just go back to the tactic you use for the cake top to outset it. This is the one that was using the background remover, as that kind of don't know about it, but again, you can kind of see, especially around the areas of the cake, that it hasn't quite picked up the detail as much as the one has in Inkscape, which is this one here, and the one that I traced in Inkscape. You can see it's kind of picked up the detail from the cake much better, and it cut quite easily. But if I was to go back to Inkscape, for example, I'll take this with us this time. If I was to come back up to this one, because I know this is quite a thin one, this wasn't too bad because I did make it quite big, but I know, especially with text, but again, if you just come up to your edit, down to your preferences, and just make sure you've got quite a low number on here, and then if I was just to come back and hit path and outset, it would increase it. You can see it got a little bit darker there. I don't know if you're seeing, kind of, it got a little bit darker there, but I gradually kind of keep outsetting this until I was happy with it and quite confident that it would cut. And again, just file and save and upload to Design Space. But it is definitely the easiest way, but it is not the only way to do it. As I said, you could use the background remover. Another way of doing it was to just, I just Googled, I go to the other one I think also done was I just typed in SVG converter. These vary depending on the image really. Some are better than others. You can come in if you need to, Chris. But these were just kind of following through the directions on here to convert it down to here, and again just download, save and upload. But it will just depend on the quality of the pictures. As I said, I found it much easier to scan the pictures in, the much better quality. This, what did I do with my little one that I had before? I know my little one that I had before, the little one. I don't know what I've done with it. The little bit, oh, this one here, he's quite thin. He is very thin. That one I didn't outset, I just left it as it was, and I've lost an eye on it actually. But that was very thin, and to cut that one, it did take us a while to read that one. I did reverse read it, so it's just going to depend on the image that you're using or the text you're using. But I would probably, if you can, do it through Inkscape. It'll just be much easier and you'll get a much better quality picture. But if anybody's struggling with Inkscape, just give us a shout, and I'm more than happy to help.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you need us to go over anything for that?
Nope.
No, I'm good, thanks, Sarah.
Are you happy, Jane?
Very.
But no, it's honestly, there's a tutorial though, on the group. If you go and find it, just say, well, I would say search my name, but you'll get millions of posts. But I did bump it, I think, this morning, or earlier this afternoon, so it should be near the top of the group. I can go on and bump it anyway towards the top, to give you something to go back through if you need it.
No problem.
Great. Thank you very much.
No worries. But if you need it,
cheers,
just give
hon.
us a shout.
Thank you.
No worries, happy to help. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Sarah.
Bye, guys.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.